Tactical shotguns are evolving faster than ever, and SHOT Show unveiled several models packed with cutting-edge features, tactical beasts meant to shake up the scattergun world. In this video, we'll talk about the game-changing innovations unveiled at SHOT Show 2025. Been thinking about picking up a shotgun but can't decide? Stick around. You might just find the perfect fit. The A300 Ultima Patrol Chisel caught a lot of folks by surprise at SHOT Show 2025. It's more affordable than the 1301 and comes decked out with a trick stock from Chisel Machining. I watched a friend run it through some punishing heat tests out in the desert, and not once did it skip a beat. It still has that reliable Beretta gas system at its core, so you get the confidence that comes from a proven design. Chisel Machining made the stock adjustable for length of pull, cheek height, and even recoil pad positioning. The fact that they also integrated a modular red dot mount is icing on the cake, especially if you prefer your own chosen optic. With support for AR-15 pistol grips, you get to pick whatever style suits your hand best, which is pretty great for personal comfort. The way it balances in hand is interesting, almost like it's bridging the gap between a lightweight sporting gun and a heavier tactical piece. It's not as premium as the 1301, but it's still got a good 85 or 90% of what you'd expect in overall performance. Priced around $400 for just the stock, or around $450 to $500 for a complete kit, it's an attractive package for someone who wants the Beretta name without shelling out top dollar. You'll also find that the A300 can handle a decent variety of loads without giving you any trouble. The shortened foreign design helps you grip it comfortably, and the adjustable cheek pad means you won't be craning your neck all day just to get a decent sight picture. The modular design from Chisel Machining really sets the tone for future expansions, especially since you can swap out pistol grips and mount different optics footprints like RMR or Acro. Let's talk about the PSA 570 modular shotgun, which caused a real buzz when it was shown at SHOT Show 2025. You might remember the pump-action version from last year. This time, Palmetto State Armory took that original concept and made it into something you can easily switch between pump-action and semi-auto, all with one receiver. Swapping out the barrel and handguard can shift the shotgun from pump to semi-auto, and it isn't much more complicated than removing a few parts with basic tools. The fact that it uses Remington 870 compatible furniture is another huge win. If you already have a favorite stalker grip from your other builds, you can probably slap it on here. PSA is also leaning heavily into the do-it-yourself angle. They designed the 570 so you can strip it down with an Allen key and a pin punch, then customize just about every component. If you enjoy tinkering, you'll have a blast. On top of that, the 570 is optics ready with a direct RMR footprint, so you can drop a red dot on without messing with extra plates. For folks who just want iron sights, the top rail is there for anything else you might want to mount. The real genius is that the accessories from the pump version, like the magazine tube or certain barrels, will function on the semi-auto variant. That means if you invest in one configuration, you're not starting from zero when you feel like switching. PSA says they plan to roll it out in late 2025, and I have a feeling these will disappear off shelves as soon as they land. The idea of a receiver that can shift from pump to semi-auto at home is fresh and appealing, especially to folks who want one shotgun that can do a whole range of tasks. The new 590R and 590RM, showcased at SHOT Show 2025, build off Mossberg's legacy but in a more modern direction. If you're used to Mossberg's Tang safety, you might be surprised to see these have a rotary safety similar to an AR-15. What's interesting is how these two shotguns feed. The 590R keeps the classic tube magazine with room for 6+1, but the 590RM goes for a detachable 10-round mag. Some folks might scoff at the idea of a shotgun with a big magazine sticking out, but if you value quick reloads, it's hard to ignore. Mossberg even added stabilizing ribs on the mag to keep things locked in tight. That definitely helps with reliability, because nobody wants their magazine wobbling around in a 12-gauge under recoil. Both models are set up to be optics ready. The Forint has M-LOK slots on both sides, a Picatinny rail up top, and Magpul MBUS 3 sights flip-up sights. The Forint has M-LOK slots on both sides, so you can add a weapon light or a sling mount without drilling or messing with weird adapters. I tried a 590 ringgit at the booth with a red dot on top, and the cheek weld was comfortable once I adjusted the stock to the right length of pull. The magazine added a bit of weight to the shotgun, but that also helped tame the recoil. It felt more balanced than I expected. Mossberg lists the price at over $1,000, which might scare off some old-school pump fans who are used to the simpler 500 series. But if you're looking for a pump shotgun that brings AR-friendly controls and either a traditional tube or a detachable mag, you'll probably find one of these two appealing. The Beretta 1301 has been a go-to for so many tactical shotgun fans, and the 1301 Tactical C is the latest twist on that story. After the ATF threw some wrenches into the mix regarding high-capacity extensions and barrel clamps, Beretta had to release a model that complies with the new rules. So now we get the 1301 Tactical C, which comes with a 5+1 capacity and no barrel clamp. At first, that might sound like a step down. Plenty of folks worry that they'll lose that 7+1 convenience, but Beretta didn't make it impossible to add an extension yourself. You can still grab aftermarket parts to boost capacity once you have it in your hands. It's basically a smaller base version that you can upgrade to your heart's content later, so you're not really losing out on the performance or reliability that made the original 1301 famous. Beretta also kept the large bolt release, the oversized charging handle, and the reversible crossbolt safety. All those features stay, which is good news if you like the ergonomics of the original. Just keep in mind that the 7+1 with a barrel clamp is no longer sold as a factory option. If you want to replicate that older setup, you'll have to do a little aftermarket work. But if you're okay with that, or if you're cool with 5+1 right out of the box, this new version is solid. If you're shopping around, look for the 1301 Tactical C marking. The older model just says 1301 Tactical, and you might see it on the used market if you're set on having the bigger capacity from day one. Either way, the 1301 line has always been revered for its balance of speed, sturdiness, and good ergonomics, so the new compliance-friendly version keeps that reputation intact. Sometimes you want a big, formidable 12-gauge that can clear a hallway or ride in your truck. That's what I think the standard manufacturing SP12 Compact Pro is for. It's short, it's solid, and it's very American-made, which might matter to folks who like to keep their gear homegrown. With a 14.5-inch barrel, it's definitely on the smaller side, but it doesn't feel cheaply made. You can run 2 3/4-inch shells at 5+1 or throw in some mini shells and push that number closer to 8+1, which is pretty wild for something so compact. The pump action is smooth, so it doesn't feel like you're grinding parts together every time you rack it. For those who shoot left-handed or just like ambidextrous controls, the SP12 checks that box too. The release lever sits right where you'd expect, letting you keep your grip while preparing for the next shot. Mounting accessories is straightforward. You get a Picatinny rail on top if you want an optic, and there are M-lock slots if you're itching to add a flashlight or a laser. It's basically built for close-quarters engagements, but that doesn't mean it can't handle mid-range work with slugs if you need it. For a truck gun or a home defense piece, it's hard to argue against it. It's short enough to tuck into tight spaces, and you'll have that quick reaction time if something goes bump in the night. Standard manufacturing has teased a future version that might take magazines, which would be a huge deal. That might not be out yet, but it shows they're committed to evolving this design. If you want something that's smaller than a typical shotgun but still delivers a big 12-gauge punch, you might love the SP12 Compact Pro. The 940 Pro Tactical SPX is basically the next-level iteration of the original 940 Pro. It's a semi-auto 12-gauge designed for those who expect real consistency in everything from home defense to more demanding tactical roles. The brand's reputation for reliability is pretty much a given at this point, but the SPX refined it further with a self-regulating gas system that doesn't choke or overshoot. Mossberg claims it can go up to 1,500 rounds before you really need to clean it. I personally wouldn't wait that long, but it's still nice to know it can handle some neglect. The 18.5-inch barrel uses AccuChoke, so you can tune your pattern for different scenarios if you want. The nickel-boron coating on the internals is another reason it's so smooth. The optic-ready design is a nice bonus. Reloading is easy, partly because of the large beveled port and that bright orange follower that you can see from a mile away. That detail might not sound huge, but in a stressful moment, being able to see that follower and feed shells without fumbling is a real advantage. The entire design caters to quick manipulations, from the big bolt release to the enlarged safety. If you ever get the chance to run a course with the 940 Pro Tactical SPX, you'll notice how stable it feels, especially when you're ducking around corners or inside vehicles. The Ghost Ring sight is already decent, but pairing it with a micro red dot basically gives you rifle-like aim for slugs or precise buckshot patterns. Mossberg priced it a bit above $1,000, but if you want a semi-auto that's built to handle rough use and remain smooth under constant firing, the 940 Pro Tactical SPX can be a really good option. The 1301 Tactical Mod 2 with the chisel folding stock ups the ante in every way with that B-Link gas system that it burns through shells almost like it's belt-fed, but the special stock from Chisel Machining changes the way it fits different shooters. You can dial in the length of pull, comb height, and even fold it for storage and transport. When folded, the stock tucks neatly against the receiver without blocking the ejection port. That means you can run it folded if you need to. There's some serious thought put into how everything lines up. The cheek piece can flip if you shoot lefty, so you're not stuck trying to adapt to a stock that doesn't suit you. This shotgun can group slugs tight at 25 yards, well under 2 inches for 10-shot strings. The Ghost Ring and top Picatinny rail let you set up a micro red dot, and if you're a fan of co-witness setups, that's definitely doable. The 1301's trigger is crisp, more like a sporting rifle than a shotgun. And because the B-Link system is so efficient, you can dump shells in a hurry without worrying about jams or that sluggish feeling some gas guns have when they get dirty. Sadly, it's on the expensive side. Beretta is asking well over $2,000, which can be tough on the wallet. But if you're hunting for a tactical shotgun that might be the best all-around semi-auto right now, the 1301 Tactical Mod 2 with the chisel stock might deserve your top slot. You get reliability, adaptability for different shooters, plus top-tier accuracy if you enjoy slinging slugs. There's also a lot to be said about how it folds down to around 29 inches, which is a real blessing if you're short on storage space or want something that can maneuver inside buildings or vehicles. And that about wraps up all the new tactical shotguns that grabbed our attention at SHOT Show 2025. You've got a range of options depending on how much you want to spend, whether you like pump or semi-auto, or if you're the kind of shooter who wants to tweak and customize every piece. So which model did you like the most, and why do you think it's any good? Sound off in the comments. While you're down there, please consider leaving a like, sharing this video with your Pro 2A friends, and subscribing to our channel so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching.